This is my 2014 Kona Process 111. It is a not entirely stock bike. I made a couple of modifications to it. Put a carbon handlebar and a slightly longer stem. I went from a 40mm stock stem to a 50mm stem. Changed out the wheels to some WTB KOM rims that are a bit lighter, just to make this bike a little bit lighter where I could. The gearing on the bike remains stock. It's got a 34 tooth chainring up front, which I was a bit concerned about when I first got the bike, and I was a bit out of shape this spring. But as the spring and summer progressed, I managed to ride my way into it. I think that gearing could be a little bit big for some folks, but it's easy enough to put on a 32 tooth or a 30 tooth chainring, and that'll make a big difference. The Process 111 has 111mm of rear travel and about 120mm of front travel. Setting up the suspension, even though it doesn't sound like it's a lot of travel, the way that the suspension is set up, it feels like you've got a whole heck of a lot more travel than the name would suggest. It took me several weeks of riding to really feel like I got the suspension set up, both in the rear and in the front. The nice thing with the front is the RockShox Revelation fork comes with these little token spacers that allow you to adjust the air volume in the fork. I started off with all 3 tokens in there, and then took out one after another until I could figure out where I wanted it. Finally settled with 2 in the front, but that's the way I ride it. Everybody's a little bit different, but having that adjustability is really nice to have. Built as is, this bike is about 29 pounds, maybe just a hair under that. It's certainly not a cross-country bike, and it's not a downhill bike, but it's a little bit of a do-everything bike. It has definitely upped my game. You certainly won't find me standing on a podium of a World Enduro Series race, but I am having a whole heck of a lot of fun on this bike. As a matter of fact, this is probably the funnest bike I've ever had. And I don't even know what to say about that. For a bike of this stature, it climbs remarkably well. That was one thing I was really concerned about when I first got it, and I've been super surprised at just how well it climbs. And then once I dropped the post and started pointing myself downhill, this bike is an absolute riot, and it goes a lot faster than I'm really capable of, and probably a lot faster than I should be going. But that has definitely contributed to the fun factor of this bike.